Okay, sir. Now, sir, could you tell this commission what was the nature of your relationship with Buhari prior to 1984?
Buhari was one of my subordinates. He was my second in command for a short time in Port Harcourt, I believe in 1974 and 75.
So you had a close-knit relationship with him?
Almost
as superior to subordinate, sir?
All the good officers that served under me,
Yes, sir.
we maintained very, very close and brotherly relationship. All the good officers.
Okay,
of
sir.
course, the bad ones, no.
Well, I will not ask you to name the good and the bad, sir.
And Buhari is one of them.
One of the which
One
ones?
of the good officers,
Okay,
yes.
sir. Would that still hold water now, sir? The nature of your relationship, would it still be the same now?
Now, yes.
Okay, sir.
We don't see, but yes, I believe so.
Okay, sir. After you left government in 1979, sir, did you or any of your companies at any time provide any service for the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the government? Any service at all?
Service? As a matter of basic principle,
Yes, sir.
I avoid doing business with government.
Okay, sir.
They don't pay on time, and officials demand gratification for work done. Yes, I'm aware of this. Yes, so sir. My general instruction to my companies, avoid government businesses.
Okay, sir.
I'm not aware of any such deals with government.
So you did not do anything with the government pre-84?
No.
Okay, sir. Have you heard of the Israeli Secret Service, the Mossad?
Yes, of course.
Good. Have you, as General Danjuma, or any of your companies had any dealings with Israeli nationals or the government of Israel or the Mossad?
In 1984, the abduction of former Minister Umaru Dikko from his London home by the dreaded Israeli Mossad on behalf of the federal military government caused one of the biggest diplomatic rifts in Nigerian history. On July 5, 1985, Umaru Dikko had been anesthetized into unconsciousness and locked into a crate bound for the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Lagos, Nigeria. The abduction was discovered when Dikko's secretary witnessed his abduction by two men through a window and alerted the police. His unconscious body was discovered in a crate along with a Mossad agent called Dr. Shapiro, who was beside him administering the anesthetic. Dikko was rescued and taken to a hospital while Shapiro was promptly arrested. The Nigerian government denied any involvement in the matter, and diplomatic relations between the two countries was badly strained. After recovering, Umaru Dikko remained in the United Kingdom for 11 years under heavy security watch. Dikko had his suspicions about the people behind his sordid ordeal, and at the top of that list was Lieutenant General T.Y. Danjuma. In 2001, he wrote a petition against the general, accusing him of being the mastermind behind his abduction. And on October 16, 2001, General T.Y. Danjuma, who was Nigeria's Minister of Defense at the time, appeared before the commission to clear his name. I did an entire video about the Dikko abduction, and you can find the link in the video in the description. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next video.
Shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Very much so. Yes, what were you saying?
My Lord, I'm sorry I interrupted proceedings. I was trying to bring to your Lordship's attention an order of court of the Abuja High Court in favor of General Buhari.
From Abuja High Court?
Yes, my Lord.
Saying what?
Well, the order is from the Abuja High Court, and it was made pursuant
about this case?
Yes, my Lord.
That we shouldn't hear him?
No, not the general, my Lord. It's General Buhari. The order was made pursuant to an application brought by General
Let's see that.
Buhari. My lord, I thought we should bring it to your lordship's notice.
Let's see what the order is about.
Why didn't he bring it before now?
Where is the order? Let's see what the order says. Where is the order? This is an application. Where is the order?
No, my lord, it's there. There are two documents there. The order
Let's
is not in
let's
respect
have
of General
the order.
Danjuma.
Did the order say we shouldn't go on with it?
Not at all, my lord.
Why are
The
we
order
wasting our
relates
time?
to only General Buhari, my lord.
If the order say we shouldn't go on with the commission, then I will listen.
The order didn't
Any
say,
other thing, if it's injunction or co-warranto, is irrelevant.
as my lord pleases.
We don't know what role we don't know whom you are appearing for this morning.
I'm sorry, my lord. I take exception to that.
Whom are you appearing for?
Sorry?
I said, whom are you appearing
What is happening?
for? Oh, for the commission. Okay.
It's okay. Let's go on.
That is most insulting, my lord.
That's all right.
Looks an SAN, you know, no matter what happens. What did he say? Did anybody, what did he say? We didn't hear. Now, what did you ask her?
My lord,
What did you say?
I just said, whom is she appearing for?
Is that insulting?
That's all I said.
Well, I don't know about the legal ethics these days. Well, in any event, no matter what happens, when we were at the bar, we respected silks
I'm
and
grateful to you.
SAN, and that is the etiquette at the bar.
I'm grateful
Right
to you.
or wrong, you don't challenge them in open court. You make a report to the judge. The judge will call the two of you in chambers. That's what happened. Is it in Port Harcourt? When somebody was in Port Harcourt accusing the former leader, chairman of the bar. I said, look, take it easy. You're a young practitioner. If there's anything against an SN, come and meet us in chambers. The man refused. He was still talking. There's conflict of interest, this, that, that. I said, all right, since you wouldn't listen, swear an affidavit, disclosing everything the SN did, which amounted to conflict of interest. When he is served, he will swear a counter affidavit. We waited for 1 month, no affidavit. Second month, no affidavit. So we ordered for his arrest. I don't know whether he's been arrested. Then he ran away from Port Harcourt. They went to his office, they almost sealed his office. So we reported him to the disciplinary committee of the bar. Did you discuss it in Calabar? That's what happens in this country. You see, if somebody does something which is wrong and is taken up properly, then somebody else won't imitate it. Now, if an SN asks whom are you appearing for, what's wrong with that? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
whether
my
she
lord.
apologizes or not, we are apologizing for her. So sorry.
I'm sorry, my lord. I apologize to the learned SA. I'm sorry, sir.
Whom are you appearing for? I'm counsel for the commission. Simple. And I'm sure why he asked that question is, normally you should take the witness, but they prefer to take their witnesses. Normally, that's why when G.O.K. Ajayi appeared, he wanted you to lead the witness. So if you want him to lead the witness, it's all right. If you want, you have the privilege to lead the witness. Which one do you want to do?
My lord, we would like the learned SN to lead
All
his
right,
witness.
thank you.
Actually, I misunderstood his question.
Over to you then.
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm grateful to you, Lord. Danjuma, could you give us your full name, please? Your full name, please.
My name is Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma.
Your address?
24 Jose Marti Crescent, Asokoro, Abuja.
What work do you do?
I'm currently the Federal Minister of Defense.
You've been served a petition filed by Dr. Alhaji Umaru Dikko.
Yes, my lord.
There, he's making an allegation that he was alleging that you were involved in the abduction proceedings.
Yes, my lord.
The Alhaji Dikko has given evidence before this tribunal. You've got a copy of his own petition.
Yes, my lord.
And you've also got a copy of the reply filed by your counsel.
Yes, my lord.
Yes. With regards to this alleged abduction, there appears to have been 2 or 3 affidavits, 3 documents attached to the petition.
Yes, my lord.
Yes. One is by one Sagir.
Yes, my lord.
Another one is by Jakolo, who I understand was the aide-de-camp to the former head of state,
Yes,
General
Just
Buhari.
1 minute, Leonard Senior.
Yes.
Is the reply tendered in evidence?
No, we want to tender it now.
Oh, I see. If you tender it, it's marked, then you can give him back to read. What exhibit would this be? 2.
TAJ2 or what is it? Exhibit 2.
Marked exhibit 2.
Shall I ask you what?
Then hand him over the exhibit 2 to read.
My lord, I read. In the Human Rights Violations Investigation Commission holding at Abuja, in petition number HRVIC stroke ABJ stroke -2 stroke 393 stroke 2000, reply by Lieutenant General T.Y. Danjuma to the petition of Alhaji Dr. Umaru Dikko, petition number 393. My Lord the Chairman and honorable members of the Commission, permit me to present this humble reply on behalf of Lieutenant General T.Y. Danjuma to petition number 393 before this honorable Commission by Alhaji Dr. Umaru Dikko, hereinafter referred to as the petitioner. The petition is all about the alleged persecution of the petitioner by the military governments headed by Generals Muhammadu Buhari and Ibrahim Babangida after the overthrow of the civilian government of Alhaji Shehu Shagari on 31st December 1983, culminating in his attempted abduction in London, where he had fled to for safety after the coup. The details of the alleged persecution of the petitioner by the said military government and the reasons given for it in the petition are many and varied. But the aspect that concerns General Danjuma hereinafter called the General is the petitioner's allegation in relation to the attempted abduction that, and I quote, key player and was said to have been paid 10 million United States dollars by Buhari administration. He was said to provide the link with the Israeli terrorists. Quotation close. It is these allegations only that this brief reply seeks to address, as the general's participation in government ended on 30th September 1979 when he retired from the army as Chief of Army Staff and member of the then Supreme Military Council. Since then, he has been engaged in private business and is therefore not in a position to admit or deny the petitioner's allegation of harassment and persecution by the Buhari administration. Suffice it to say that it is clear from the petition that the petitioner has managed to convince himself that his persecution came about because, as President Shagari's campaign Director General and later his Minister of Transport, he had stepped on the toes of his boss's political rivals in the course of his duties. Whether he will also manage to convince this commission is another matter altogether. The General categorically and emphatically denies the petitioner's allegation that he played any of the roles ascribed to him in the petition in connection with the attempted abduction of the petitioner in London. The diplomatic row between Britain and Nigeria following the petitioner's attempted abduction came about because the British government believed that the then Nigerian government planned and executed the abduction attempt, a charge which the then government flatly denied. It must, I believe, not be forgotten that the general left government in 1979, and by the time the attempt took place in 1984 or thereabout, he has been a businessman for about 5 years, engaged only in the management of his various businesses. He was neither a government official nor a soldier, and it was not until the 29th of May 1999 that he accepted to serve as minister in the present government. Where, it may be asked, did the petitioner get his facts from? He does not say, and one may sympathize with him for not knowing who his persecutors were. But in his search for those who planned and executed the attempt to abduct him, he has unfortunately picked on the most unlikely and indeed the wrong person. Apart from not having any proof of the matters he alleges against the general, the documents which he attached to his petition all testify against him. Annexed 4, Mr. Peter Inahoro's article in the magazine Africa Now of August 1984, referred to on page 14 of the petition. This article gives a detailed account of the whole abduction episode right from the beginning until the end, with commentaries and comparisons with other similar events involving other countries. Not once in the 7-page article was the general's name mentioned as having anything to do with the attempt on the petitioner. Annex 3, Major Mustafa Jokolo's paid advert in the Citizen magazine of 9th November 1999 referred to on page 13 of the petition. The author of this advert was a one-time ADC to former head of state, General Muhammadu Buhari. He claimed that as Minister of Transport in the Shagari administration, the petitioner had closed down all jetties that were being used to perpetrate smuggling activities, and that the general's jetty was one of them. According to him, the general's jetty remained closed until Shagari was overthrown, and that when the petitioner now became a fugitive in London, the general quickly capitalized on the situation because the petitioner had declared a war on General Buhari. According to the then Major Jokolo, the general booked an appointment to see General Buhari and gave him detailed proposals as to how he would bring the petitioner back using his Israeli connection, quote unquote. Apart from being a paid advert, it is quite obvious that the whole story is false, for the simple reason that no one who has any intelligence at all would describe to a head of state publicly his plan to carry out such an act against a prominent citizen like the petitioner, or even to the hearing of any other person, even if that person happens to be the ADC to the head of state. The story is manifestly incredible. The general had only 5 years before retired as not only a very senior military officer, but Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, Major Jokolo, ought to credit him with more intelligence than that. But what is even more important than that is the fact that General has never owned any jetty in or outside Nigeria. And while the story of the closure of jetties by the petitioner might be true, the general did not own any. The petitioner is hereby challenged to produce evidence before this commission that the general ever owned a jetty. He never owned a jetty, and Jokolo's lie that his jetty was closed down by the petitioner was meant to give credence to his story by establishing a motive on the part of the general for the story that he, the general, was responsible for the petitioner's tribulations. He was not. The absence of a jetty belonging to the general, which was closed down by the petitioner, shows beyond any doubt that the story of the general being involved in the abduction is a fabrication. And still talking about motives, it is obvious from Jokolo's advert itself that Jokolo's story about his being present when the general offered the then head of state to bring back the petitioner using his Israeli connection, quote and unquote, was not without motive, without a motive. In the same advert, just before the story, Jakolo had betrayed his intense dislike or even hatred for the general in the following abusive language. I quote, "I can authoritatively state that Danjuma, the then soldier, easily transformed into Danjuma the civilian, but still never letting go his grip on the military. I am yet to discover what is it that Danjuma that makes people tremble. What is it in Danjuma that makes people tremble? Mere mention of Danjuma's name will always earn him favors. Why is it that people hold him? You can hear me, my lord. I can shout.
Okay then.
You can continue now.
Okay, my lord.
You stop mere mention of Danjuma's name will always earn people's favor, after the people trembling, and after the light trembling too.
My lord, the light trembled. Why is it that people hold him in such awe? Is it respect or fear? Unquote. He alone trades dangerous paths with impunity where others dread to tread. There is not a single government, civilian or military, that can dare keep Danjuma in check. Everybody seems to be too eager to appease Danjuma. For God's sake, what is the big deal about this highly self-opinionated, insensitive, discourteous, and unsmiling big oaf? He seems to have his finger in any available pie. He bullies his way wherever he goes and whenever he likes. Whether be it religious, he had a brush with some church leaders, resulting in a court action or in business, creating chaos in Universal Trust Bank, where he is the chairman. He has chains of businesses that no single Nigerian can boast of, having be it shipping, fishing, banking, media, etc. He still holds federal government appointments such as chairman, Dikko Industries, chairman, Dikko Salt Limited, chairman, National Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, etc. He recently got monopoly of being the sole agent of NNPC in procuring a product from them for his new company that deals in petrochemical products in Kaduna. In all this, what has the general done to deserve the... My Lord, I believe... end of quotation. In all this, what has the general done to deserve the insults so unfairly poured out on him? It must be obvious to any impartial reader of the totality of the advert that the writer had a motive in writing the story to make the allegations about the so-called involvement of the general in the abduction attempt, and that motive, I believe, is hatred or envy or both. Put it mildly, the general is simply a victim of his own success. Three, Annex 1, General Buhari's interview with the news magazine of 5th July 1993, referred to on pages 8 to 9 of the petition. The petitioner's aim in attaching this document, no doubt, is to show that he was not corrupt, as Buhari's statement had portrayed him to be. However, during the interview, General Buhari, former head of state, referring to Jokolo's advertorial, testified to General's character as follows, thus dismissing Jokolo's allegations as contained therein. I quote, Look, it is one of the unfortunate things that is happening in this country. It was a paid advertisement in one of the magazines by a junior officer, Major Mustafa Jokolo, who must have been paid or given something to discredit some officers. To that extent, whatever he says cannot be credible. As far as credibility is concerned, there are two officers that I know that I can vouch for anywhere because I served under them. One of them is General Danjuma, the other is General Obasanjo. I think Nigeria is lucky to have people like that. How can you have a country that is so sick? How can you allow a major speak openly against a general that commanded the army or commanded the country? Because what came out of the write-up by this officer that was paid was far beyond what that officer will ever know, although he was my ADC. Definitely, somebody moved into the military security archives and turned it over to a junior officer to abuse a senior officer. But I know Nigerians know the value of those officers, Obasanjo and Danjuma, unquote. To the question, still on the Umaru Dikko abduction, if your government supported the move, why was it bungled the way it was bungled? He replied, you better go and ask those who bought advertisement and accused some generals of being corrupt, because they seem to have all the information. I told you I can vouch for the integrity of only 2 generals because I served under them. I don't know of some others who served with me but are now visible today. Those who say they directed their integrity honestly in all they did while I was head of state, let them show it to the public, unquote. My lords, this alone should settle this matter. They are the words of the head of state whose ADC claimed to be present when the general came and gave a detailed proposal as to how he would use his so-called Israeli connections to abduct the petitioner in London. The import of Buhari's words is that Jakolo's story is false. But it goes beyond that. It goes to show that the general is a man of proven integrity and not a terrorist. Annex 2. The affidavit of Alhaji Sagir referred to on page 13 of the petition. This affidavit was sworn to with the aim of persuading the Senate not to confirm the nomination of the general for ministerial appointment. Of the 6 paragraphs and 10 subparagraphs of the affidavit, only one subparagraph, i.e. paragraph 5A, has any bearing on the complaint of the petitioner. All the other paragraphs and subparagraphs relate to matters which are not before the Commission and cannot be because they do not constitute violations of human rights which the Commission was established to address. The fact that the deponent has gone out of his way to plead the cause of some individuals, including the petitioner, and act as their spokesman against the general shows clearly that he has a grudge against him and will stop at nothing to ensure that his image was tarnished before redemption, beyond redemption. Could those individuals, including the petitioner, not speak for themselves? In this affidavit, one sees the desperate effort of the deponent to vilify the general and assassinate his character. But the Senate, for whose benefit the affidavit was sworn, knew the general for who he really is and, in the face of Sagil's affidavit, confirmed the general's nomination without hesitation. In any event, Sagil's affidavit establishes nothing insofar as it does not disclose the source or sources of the deponent's information, including the alleged conspiracy between the general and the government to abduct the petitioner. This affidavit, which the petitioner relies upon, is not only worthless, but it betrays the malice and prejudice which the deponent harbors towards the general. Such prejudice is clearly borne out by such statements as, I quote, General Danjuma is a dictator, an authoritarian who is unfit to be appointed as a minister under the present democratic dispensation, unquote. Paragraph 5F, and I quote, General Danjuma is not a Democrat, nor a nationalist, because he hates Hausa Fulani and do not, as he said it, hide his deep-rooted hatred anywhere and anytime, and can plunge this country into civil and religious unrest if he is given any public office. Paragraph 5G. For his part, the general, being the mature, cultured, and responsible person that he is, would not descend to the level of the deponent by engaging into a war of words with him or seek in any way to get even with him. He simply ignored him, leaving the Nigerian public to judge for themselves whether Sagir and Co. are right or wrong. The dispassionate reading of the affidavit only reveals the deponent's unbridled desire to do the general in. It does not prove the petitioner's case against him. In conclusion, it must be said that the general is not only a man of integrity with a high sense of patriotism, but a Nigerian citizen who has served this country with distinction in several capacities. In public office and in private life, he has been a great achiever and a shining example of a principled Nigerian. In all his assignments in the service of the nation, he has performed his duties diligently and meritoriously, striving for excellence, not compromising with wrongdoing by those he comes in contact with, but above all, dealing firmly but fairly with his colleagues, subordinates, and superiors alike. Because of his steadfastness in doing what is right all the time, his contributions to the development of the nation have been immense, and few can deny that as an individual, he has been a tremendous success. Because of his firmness in dealing with those he has to work with over the years, there are no doubt many who do not like his guts and his principled approach to issues, be they official or private. There are also many on whose toes he has stepped. Little wonder that there are people who would stop at nothing to bring him down. The campaign of falsehood against him in this petition is just another example of such. This has been his lot, but his uprightness and courage could not let him waver or succumb to blackmail. The General again hereby denies the petitioner's allegations against him with all the emphasis at his command. The petitioner has not proved and cannot prove his reckless allegations. If the petitioner is looking for those responsible for his plight, he must look elsewhere, because the General is not one of them. Dated this 4th day of July, 2001. Signed, Chief Shobo Shemomo, SAN, with Mr. Ibrahim Haman, LLB, Honors, BL, Counsel to General Tiwa Danjuma, retired, 12B, Stracham Street, Lagos.
You are adopting that?
Yes, my lord.
Look at page 13 of Exhibit 1. That's the petition, it's the petition filed. Exhibit 1.
May I have Exhibit 1, please?
Page 13.
Yes, my
Beginning
lord.
from where there's some Lieutenant General T.Y. Danjuma retired.
Lieutenant General Tiwa, may I read it?
Yeah, read it, please.
Lieutenant General Tiwa Danjuma, retired, now Minister of Defense, is alive, was involved, and can give evidence. He was a key player and was said to have been paid 10 million United States dollars by Buhari administration. He was said to provide the link with the Israeli terrorists. The affidavit sworn by retired Colonel Mohammed Sagir against his nomination to be a minister is attached. The present Emir of Gondu, Alhaji Jokolo, then Major H.M. Jokolo, knows so much about the involvement of Lieutenant General Danjuma in this international terrorism. This article in Citizen of years back is attached herewith. It is a further evidence of his involvement in the crime. He is alive, was in the show, and can be invited to testify.
That's all. What's your reaction to this?
I deny the allegation totally.
This Major Jokolo, Major Jokolo.
Yes, my lord.
You know him very well. Why did he write this type of article?
My lord, I do not know. All I can remember is that the hint about why he wrote the article, I believe, was contained in the opening paragraphs of the long advertised advertorial that he published. There, he was holding brief for General Ibrahim Babangida about what I was alleged to have said against Babangida in a previous newspaper interview.
Do you recollect what was said at that time?
In relation to this matter?
Yes.
What was asking me questions about Dimka school. And I related what I knew about it. And in connection with Dimka's escape from the MBC, where federal troops, the loyal troops, had encircled them, I said that the role General Babangida played with regards to Dinka's escape was controversial, although the public perception and what was dished out, the laundered version of what happened, gave tremendous praise to the role Babangida played. Jokolo apparently did not take that very lightly. At that time, Jokolo was running one of the federal government-owned salt company. He mentioned it in his petition, which eventually he ran aground. The company became bankrupt, and he believed that the reason why that company became bankrupt was because another company which I formed, another salt company which I formed as the chairman of Dikko, and which was very successful, and which is still successful, and it's today in the stock market. He believed that that company was responsible for the failure of Jokolo's company. So he had a grouse, a very deep grouse. And one of the things he complained in this petition was about my chairmanship of Defense Industries Corporation, my chairmanship of Dikko Salt. He was a failed businessman.
That's all for this witness, my lord.
Any cross-examination? Sorry, you mentioned Newswatch. I thought we were tendering the Newswatch. It's already in evidence.
It's in evidence, my lord.
It's already in evidence. Exhibit what?
It's an exhibit. It's a time.
In another case.
Danjuma, is this Newswatch?
Newswatch is already in evidence. But in another case.
In another case?
Yes, that's all right. But if you have one available, it's neater.
We'll do that.
If it's in this case. If you haven't got it, it's all right.
Yes, General, sir. We are gratified you're able to come here and come and testify from your busy schedule. I want you to picture that this cross-examination is like driving a bus, and the driver, we are passengers having a leisurely trip to the Mambila. So if I'm going too fast, please let me know. But I will not relinquish the driver's seat so we can make things clear to ourselves.
Am I also a passenger in that bus?
Yes, sir. You're sitting next to me, sir.
I'll take a life insurance.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. There are two issues, I will say, pre-83 and post-84, or say pre-84 and post-84. Now, prior to 1983-84, what was your relationship with the petitioner?
I knew him very well, being a prominent citizen of Nigeria. He was, I believe, a commissioner in Abba Kyari's government during the war, and he continued to play a prominent political role in the North. I knew him. I was very, very acquainted with him. And the relationship was good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You said that after you retired from government in 1979, you went into private business. Could you please let us know what the businesses you were engaged in and what kind of businesses?
Shipping agency, later on a shipping line, fishing,
Yes, sir.
and then oil service business. We sell oil field drilling chemicals to the oil companies, for exploration companies.
Okay, sir. Now, sir, would it be correct to say not you, General Danjuma, as a person, but likely one or two of your companies, like your fishing companies, had jetties?
We have fishing terminals.
Or terminals?
Fishing terminals.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Now, did you have this fishing terminal prior to 1983?
No.
Okay, when did you have the fishing terminal? When were you granted license?
I started fishing about 1990 or so.
Okay, sir. So it will be correct to say, from what you are telling us, you own, that is your company now,
Yes.
had license to operate a terminal in 1990,
Yes.
and you did not have any jetties closed down?
No.
Or your company?
My fishing terminal is owned by MPA.
Okay, sir.
I lease the land. It's in Tinkan Island.
Okay, sir.
There's another one that I am hiring in Port Harcourt. It's a federal fishing terminal. We manage it
Okay, sir.
in Port Harcourt. It belongs to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries.
Okay, sir.
No.
You've not had any business dealings?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay, sir. Now, General, when did you become aware of the attempted abduction of the petitioner?
When did I become aware of it?
Yes, when?
When it was world news. When it was announced
Where were you then, sir?
in Lagos.
Okay, you were watching it on television, or you got the papers?
In the newspapers. I'm not a TV person.
Okay, sir.
I'm more visual than
Okay,
I
sir.
read. I read rather than watch, maybe audio, radio, yes.
Okay, sir. What was your reaction?
I was surprised.
And did you try to get in touch with General Buhari or India more or any government officials?
Whatever for, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Okay, sir. Now, do you know Colonel Sagir? This Colonel
No.
Sagir?
Absolutely. I had to find out from the military secretary whether there ever was an officer bearing that name. I never heard of the name. I never heard of the name. And the so-called affidavit, I only became aware of its existence. Sorry. Closer. I only became aware of the existence of his affidavit after I received this petition. Throughout the time I appeared before the Senate, neither the Senate nor the petitioner sent to me a copy of the affidavit.
Thank you, sir. Now, when you became aware of the affidavit, as you said, you only got to know about this affidavit in this petition.
That's right.
Yes. Did you do anything to debunk the allegation?
I didn't think it was worth.
Okay.
I didn't think it was worth it.
Okay, sir. Now, what about Major Jokolo? When you read the advertorial, did you try to say, wow, this guy has been virulent in his attacks on my person, I have to seek redress, this is libelous, or you just let the matter slide?
It was, if you read the whole story,
Yes, sir.
it was so polemical and there was nothing nothing bad under the sun that I wasn't alleged to have been responsible for. I didn't think it was the work of a sane person.
Okay, sir.
So I didn't think it was worth my responding to.
Okay, sir. Would it be correct to say, sir, that if this petition did not arise, Major Jokolo's paid advert would be the perception the whole world will have of the man, General Danjuma, because you would not have said anything. And anybody who read that advertorial will say, wow, this must be true. If this petition had not come up.
No, that's a matter of opinion.
Okay, sir. So what is your opinion, sir?
I don't think so.
Okay, sir. Now, sir, pre-99, before you became the minister, could you tell the commission how many companies were you either chairman of, director, or a shareholder, majority shareholder? Could you just give us a rough picture?
When? From what time?
That is 79 to 99.
79. That's a long time.
Yes, sir.
The companies that I've owned,
Yes, sir.
I've told you.
You
their
have,
names
yes.
already. I was a director of SCOA. I was a director and later on chairman of Guinness Nigeria. I was a director of Ajip Energy. I was a director of WAMCO, West African Net Company. I was a director and chairman of Universal Trust Bank.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is that all, sir? Is that all, sir?
I was the chairman when I was on. I was the chairman of DIC, the Defense Industries Corporation, and as that chairman, I started two companies, two commodity companies. One was a company that was to import sugar in bulk and with a view to subsequently bag and sell sugar here, package and sell sugar here in Nigeria. That company collapsed. At the same time, I started a salt company. Yes, my lord.
The chairman, we're wondering whether the Learned Council is not just fishing. We are here in connection with the abduction.
He has a fishing company, so he's fishing.
It's his line of cross-examination. It's getting that. getting out of the terms of reference of this money.
If you leave him alone to be shorter, let him go on.
As the court pleases. As the commission pleases, sir. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, those are the companies, sir.
Yes.
If you can remember now. Okay, sir. Sir, I believe you have thoroughly gone through the petition. Our petition. Okay, sir. Now, okay. Now, as a person with vast experience in and out of government, as a person that has served the nation, there are certain things, certain evidences that I will ask you, and you tell me from your experience what you believe or think. In our petition, especially Annexure 3, sorry, Annexure 4, that is Kayode Soyinka's write-up. If you look at it, sir, you'll find there are some pieces of evidence that the British government must have looked at before they expelled General Hanania. One, the Nigerian Airways plane was found parked on the tarmac, waiting to crate off the petitioner. Two, the embassy vehicles was found parked at the tarmac. Three, an embassy staff, Okon, was found near the crate. Four, a Nigerian military officer, Major Yusuf, was found connected to the plane, and he was sentenced to 12 years in prison for abduction or attempted abduction. Now, from your experience, sir, going by hindsight, would you say that any person looking at the situation would say the government of that day had either remotely, overtly, or covertly anything to do with the attempted abduction, going by this piece of evidence?
From my experience.
Yes, sir. That all these pieces of evidence put together in a chain. Anybody standing and say, "Oh, wow, these things put together," I believe this thing should have been this.
I have never given a thought to that. And I'm afraid I have no opinion in that matter.
Okay, but, sir, you've never given it a thought, sir,
Yes.
as you rightly said here, sir. But what if you give it a thought? Just a slight thought, sir. Maybe remotely, even not closely connected, going by these pieces of evidence.
I would like to have remotely connected with his participation.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
That is
not
the
remotely
remote
connected in the air.
No, sir. The remote connection to his participation was the allegation that the Israelis that were found in the crate, the Israelis that were found in the crate, was a mercenary that was whatever by him, gotten by him. That is the allegation.
Oh, that's an allegation.
Yes, sir. It's
Not
an
proof.
allegation, sir. No, not proof, sir. But the pieces of evidence linking everything was what I was asking about, sir.
I don't have an opinion.
Okay, sir. Now, sir, you have also thoroughly perused your replies, I'm sure. You've read it to us. I'm a little curious, sir, because the allegation made against you was in one, that you knew about the kidnapping, two, you were involved heavily, you denied everything. But I looked through and I did not find a specific denial concerning the allegation of the payment of $10 million. What do you have to say about that, sir?
No such transaction took place involving me. I never received any payments, 10 million or 40 million. One of the newspapers wrote 40 million.
Oh,
and
40 million.
It was even recorded in the internet. That is totally untrue.
Okay, sir. So neither you or any of your companies or business associates had anything or any cost to collect any money from the government pre-1984, sir?
Absolutely not.
Okay, sir.
It's good he has a question. Isn't it? Yes. He has applied the evidence.
Yes. Now, sir, did you at any time, I don't know, what was your relationship with the late General Idiagbon? He was your subordinate, I know, sir. Was it as close as your relationship with Buhari or maybe a little wider?
It was good, very good.
Okay, sir. Did you at any time ever discuss this matter with General Idiagbon, the late General Idiagbon?
No.
Never?
Never.
Okay, sir. My lord, that will be all for the witness.
Any other questions?
Well, she was trying to produce something earlier.
Where would the copy check them?
She has a photocopy of the check. What I mean?
No.
General, please take a look at page 12 of Exhibit 2. That's your response. The last page, actually.
The last page.
Yes, my lord.
The petitioner, sorry, I'm reading from the last paragraph. The petitioner has not proved and cannot prove his reckless allegations. If the petitioner is looking for those responsible for his plight, he must look elsewhere because the general is not one of them. Now, if the petitioner were to look elsewhere, could you hazard a guess where in your opinion would he need to look?
Madam, elsewhere means elsewhere.
Yes.
Thank you.
Danjuma is so intelligent for them.
General, please look at page 13 of no, page sorry. Yes, page 13 of Exhibit 1. A long list is given of people who, in the petitioner's opinion, were implicated in his in the attempts to abduct him. Now, I also had the opportunity to look at all the attachments. General, you recall the furore that followed the attempted abduction of the petitioner, well, in international circles. Now, the level of planning that went behind that sort of, the level of planning that must have gone into the attempt, in your opinion, could that have been arranged by ordinary mortals, ordinary individuals?
Madam, the biggest act of terrorism took place on the 11th of September when two very tall towers plus Pentagon were destroyed by aircraft that were hijacked. The evidence so far given by the Americans that the organization and the individual behind it is not government. It is an organization led by one person, not the Afghan government, but an individual. So you can draw your conclusions from there.
Thank you, General.
Thank you.
Are you aware if the government of the day at any time made a categorical denial of the incident, of involvement in the incident?
I think they did. Okay. I think they did.
My lord, that will be all for him. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, cross-examination? Any re-examination?
No re-examination.
Counsel, is that the case?
That is the case, my lord.
What is this?
Just one observation arising from the question by Dr. Dikko's lawyer, counsel, namely that I think he asked the question whether if this commission had not been set up and if, what the contents of the advertorial, negative as they were, would he have, just let it lie like that? And I'd just like to take off from that point to just say that indeed, I think as the chairman has labored to make this point, that among other things, people take the witness box, and in very many ways, it gives them an opportunity to state their own side of the story. And that is why we continue to appeal to those whose credibility, so to say, has been put to question, rightly or wrongly, whatever, that the commission continues to be one veritable platform for people to do what things they may have left to God, but things that they may not have had a chance elsewhere to be able to rebut. So I think it's, apart from just thanking you for coming to state your own side of the story, we just like to continue to encourage people that this commission is not witch hunting anybody. But I think I'm speaking on behalf of Mama here. We'd like to thank your ministry for acting with dispatch in matters, while the commission is still sitting, the matters relating to the welfare of the widows. That matter was treated with dispatch, and we're quite very happy about that because the widows themselves are very happy. We also have gotten word that some of the soldiers who petitioned this commission, that your ministry has already begun to act. The lawyer for the Navy came the other day with good news, and we hope that other ministries and parastatals will take a cue from what your ministry has done. Mainly because rather than waiting for, there may be people who may not actually be alive at the time this government decides to act on the report. So whatever a government official can do, there's no need waiting for the final outcome of this commission. So I think on behalf of all of, I'm not speaking for the chairman, but I think we'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to come. And we wish good luck to those contractors who will be coming to your ministry, because I'm sure that from all evidence, you will be able to pay them with dispatch, unlike... Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Do you like to have written addresses? Counsel for the petitioner. Have you got Exhibit 2?
Yes, my lord.
Page 2 of Exhibit 2. The last sentence.
Yes, my lord.
Can you read it?
The last sentence. It must.
I think it's not.
I think that's yes. It must not be forgotten that the general left government in 1979, and by the time the attempt took place in 1984 or thereabout, he had been a businessman for 5 years.
If that is common ground, is it common ground?
There's no dispute about that, sir.
Good.
There's no dispute about that, sir.
Do you need to have any address, written address, if that is common ground?
My lord, I believe the whole essence of this commission is reconciliation, sir.
No, do you want to have a written address? I'm just asking.
My lord, there will be...
If you want, I give you a week or two.
No need.
My lord, we will want a written address,
Written
yes.
address.
Yes, to be on the safe side.
So,
the only problem we might encounter, sir.
Well, within a week or two, which one?
He's saying I would have
2 weeks, 1 week?
My lord, 2 weeks, sir.
2 weeks?
Yes, sir.
SAN, well, written addresses on both sides
Written address, man.
to be submitted to the Secretariat of the Commission within 2 weeks.
Within 2 weeks.
My lord, may we be indulged, sir. May we be indulged. The petitioner would like to say a word or two, sir, after the general has left the witness box. Just a word or two, sir. It will not take up to 5 minutes.
We agreed on 2 weeks.
2 weeks is adequate, sir.
2 weeks. Will it be 2 weeks after the receipt of his own address? Or
No, from today.
from today? That's all.
No, you don't need to see his own. Just write your own and send to us. We will compare his and yours. And then the exhibits 2 and 1. You've saved us time because some of the exhibits reached 120 exhibits. If that is finished, then let's hear from Dr. Umaru Dikko, member of Inner Temple, I suppose.
May I stand
Is
down?
it Inner Temple or Middle Temple? No, don't worry. You stay there for some time. Aren't you comfortable there? It's a small box.
I'm all right.
Yes. Is it Inner Temple or Middle Temple? Middle Temple. I see. Let him say what he wants to say. Maybe.
My Lord.
Do you want to sit in the box with him?
Well,
that would make me even closer.
I wouldn't mind.
Why? No.
I wouldn't mind.
That will get you closer.
Yes. You will now have a case of military general and a political general.
You can talk from
Yes. Now you can clap.
My Lord, members of this Honorable Commission, I have requested my counsel to request you to give me this opportunity to say a word or two, not as an address of a lawyer before a court, but that of a simple, humble petitioner before a fact-finding commission. And I'm grateful that you have given me this opportunity. Our nation, my Lord, has been given a unique opportunity that enables everyone, anyone, who believes that his human rights have been violated to come forward and to present his case before this commission. This is a welcome development and a welcome change. Nigerians are not only jubilant, but grateful, because prior to this, a person could challenge such violation of human rights only through the courts of law. And to do so would require a lot of money, and the majority of us haven't just got it. We cannot afford. My Lord, from our independence in 1960, we have passed through many difficult periods in the hands of dictators in uniform who have come to power through the leave of no one. Nigerians have tasted tyranny. We have experienced deprivation and outright abuse of our fundamental human rights. The revelations before this tribunal testify to this assertion, and I dare say it is in fact only the tip of the iceberg. There will be more shocking revelations if only patience and time would permit further hearings. Now, my Lord, dictators can be described as terrorists of state or state terrorists because they use apparatus of state to plant fear insecurity in the minds of those they govern by force. Thus, terrorists in high places rule by terror, not by reason, and their subjects live in permanent and endless insecurity and fear. In the global war against terror and terrorists, a war in which the world is now engaged, one would hope that those dictators and terrorists in power who have deprived their fellow human beings of their human rights will be identified and brought to account in this world, even before they meet in the higher court in the next world. Nigeria's prestige, my lord, has been damaged, dented, and I dare say destroyed by what I call state terrorists of our country. As far as some good people and serious Nigerians are concerned, our independence, probably as far as liberty and human freedom is concerned, we can say it amounts to nothing. They've destroyed it. Late General Sani Abacha, my lord, was not the only dictator that Nigeria had. There had been some before him, and there are also some after him. Only perhaps we haven't been bold enough to identify and say it out. My lord, as I said earlier, I'm not here as a lawyer addressing a court, but like I say, a simple petitioner, asserting that his human rights have been violated ruthlessly by a dictatorial regime headed by a tyrant. And I mentioned in my petition, my lord, some of the people that I believe participated. I'm glad one of the persons that I have mentioned has now denied any knowledge, any prior knowledge, and any participation. I congratulate him for being bold to give that denial. My lord, I do not intend to take a lot of your time, but I thought, since my own appearance is probably coming to an end, unless you want me again, that's why I asked for these few words to be said. And this is not politics. My lord, we have called some of the witnesses that you deem relevant in my matter. Some of them have failed. I don't like to use the word refused, but they failed to turn up out of fear, out of arrogance, or what? As you have said, fear has now changed sides, and it will continue to do so. But I believe that equality before the law is a very, very relevant element of democracy. And I think, sir, we should do everything in our power to ensure that in Nigeria there is equality before the law. High and low, before the law, you are equal. Say your case, you'll be heard. I'm aware, my lord, that you have already delivered a composite ruling on those that are not coming and are trying to hide behind the courts, seeking injunction here and there. Well, I don't know how long they will succeed. There is no way. The world is now a global village. If you commit a crime, you will answer.
All right.
So I thank you very much, my lord. I can see that...
Not yet. Let's finish before you thank.
Okay.
Now, nobody denies the facts of what happened in London. The only thing we are doing today was a part of it. From Ms. Exhibit 2, which I asked your lawyer to read, and from that, he wasn't even part of the government when it happened. Can you two get reconciled at least? Let's start from one before we go to a larger area.
Okay. Well, like I said, I have come here because I believe in reconciliation.
Good.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
That's why I said, can you two reconcile?
Indeed, we reconcile.
Yes.
But then...
General, you are taller than he is. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I thank both of you.
Thank you.
That is the spirit.
Yes.
Our job here really is to try and see if we can lay the foundation of a better Nigeria. Individual cases of human rights abuses, we look into them.